Today, we dive into the timeless world of the iconic quarter dollar, a coin that has traveled through hands, history, and generations, yet still carries a presence that few others can match. This is not just currency. This is a symbol of American legacy, crafted with detail, strength, and a story etched into every curve of its design. Around the world, collectors chase this piece for its character, its heritage, and the hidden value many people never notice. In today's video, we unfold the mystery behind this remarkable coin, revealing what makes it stand out in global numismatics and why collectors from Asia to Europe keep it high on their list. Stay with me, because what you are about to see is more than metal. It's history, its identity, and it might just be a treasure sitting silently in your collection. The 1966 Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark, examined specifically in fine condition and evaluated in the context of today's international coin market. This coin represents a unique moment in American numismatic history because the mid-1960s were a transitional period for U.S. coinage. During this era, the United States Mint was facing a nationwide coin shortage, which led to major production changes. One of those changes was the removal of mint marks from coins for several years, including 1965, 1966, and 1967. Because of that policy, the 1966 quarter comes without a mint mark, and all of them were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Understanding the background of this policy helps collectors appreciate why these coins appear the way they do and why they continue to be of interest today. The 1966 quarter is part of the clad coinage era, meaning it is made from a copper-nickel composition rather than the 90% silver alloy used before 1965. For many collectors, this shift marks a big turning point in American coinage because it separated modern clad circulation coins from the classic silver era. When people review quarters from the mid-1960s, many wonder whether the 1966 quarter has any silver content, but the answer is no. Despite the fact that some transitional silver planchets accidentally slipped into production for other years, such errors are incredibly rare and typically associated with 1965 coins rather than 1966. Still, collectors often examine 1966 quarters carefully to check weight, edges, coloration, and metal characteristics to see if any transitional experimental pieces exist. When looking at the 1966 quarter in fine condition, its grade reflects noticeable circulation wear but also recognizable details of Washington's portrait on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. Fine condition typically shows wear on the high points, including Washington's hair, the cheek area, and the eagle's wings and chest. Even so, the coin remains fully identifiable, free of heavy scratches, and still attractive enough for collectors who want an example for their date runs. In today's market, the value of a fine condition 1966 quarter remains modest because this coin was produced in high quantities. The U.S. Mint struck over 800 million quarters in 1966, making it one of the high mintage years of the clad era. High mintage means more coins have survived, reducing scarcity and keeping values low for circulated examples. When we evaluate current market value, the reality is that a 1966 quarter in fine condition generally trades at around face value to slightly above face value in the American market. International collectors may pay a tiny premium if shipping and collecting interest align, but typically the fair market value for a fine condition example ranges from 25 cents to about $1, depending on demand, condition quality, and whether a buyer specifically needs that date for a collection set. Many beginners ask why such an old coin doesn't command a higher price, and the answer lies in its composition and availability. Since the coin is clad rather than silver, there is no intrinsic metal value beyond its face value. Additionally, its high survival rate means collectors don't struggle to locate examples. However, the 1966 quarter becomes significantly more interesting when we look at higher grades. In mint state grades, especially MS-65 or MS-66 and above, the value increases significantly. These high-grade examples are harder to find because most 1966 quarters entered circulation quickly during the coin shortage years. A perfectly preserved coin that stayed out of circulation can bring anywhere from $20 to over $400 depending on the grade. Some of the highest graded examples certified by major grading companies like PCGS and NGC have even crossed thousands of dollars in auction results. This demonstrates how quality matters far more than age alone in modern clad coins. Another area of interest for collectors is the existence of errors and varieties. The 1966 quarter is known for certain striking errors such as off-center strikes, double strikes, die clashes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and more. These error coins can bring significantly higher prices, sometimes ranging from $50 to hundreds of dollars depending on severity, uniqueness, and visual impact. Because this year had heavy production pressure, error coins are not extremely rare but still desirable. Collectors always examine the lettering, rims, minting alignment, and eagle wings for any unusual patterns that could indicate a valuable mint error. For collectors just starting out, the 1966 quarter offers a perfect introduction to learning about mint policies, mintage, composition changes, and grading differences. Even though its base value in fine condition is low, the coin represents an important piece of American history and provides stepping stones toward understanding the evolution of U.S. currency. It helps collectors understand why some dates are valuable while others remain common. It also teaches the importance of condition, rarity, and special varieties rather than assuming that older coins automatically carry premium prices. The international market for U.S. coins continues to expand, with collectors from Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa increasingly interested in American numismatics. The 1966 quarter, although common, still travels through these markets as part of complete date sets, teaching kits, coin bundles, and historical displays. Many dealers include it in starter packs for new collectors or educational coin sets for schools and institutions. Even at a low price, the coin retains strong educational value and is often used to demonstrate the U.S. transition from silver to clad coinage. When analyzing the 1966 quarter from an investment standpoint, it is important to understand that circulated clad quarters hold limited upside unless they are part of a high-grade collection or include a rare error. Investors typically prioritize silver or key-date coins with lower mintages. Still, there is value in collecting and holding complete sets, as demand for full series collections often increases over time, sometimes raising the value of even common dates. A date run that includes flawless examples can become significantly more desirable in the long term. Collectors should store their 1966 quarters properly to avoid further wear or environmental damage. Even a common coin looks better and retains more value when kept in proper storage like coin flips, albums, or hard plastic holders. Avoid cleaning the coin, as cleaning reduces collector value. Original surfaces are always preferred. In conclusion, the 1966 Washington quarter without a mint mark, in fine condition, carries a modest value in today's market, generally around face value to $1. But beyond price, this coin holds historical significance and a strong educational value that continues to attract collectors worldwide. Its role in the coin shortage era, its position as an early clad coin, and the potential for high-grade examples and mint errors make it a fascinating study piece. Whether you are a new collector or a seasoned numismatist, understanding this coin helps you better appreciate the broader world of U.S. coin collecting. Now we move to the mintage numbers. Philadelphia minted more than 468 million quarters in 1977, which means that 1977 no-mint mark quarters are extremely common. Because of this high production, the coin is easily available in circulation even today. The large supply affects the overall value, especially in lower grades like good, fine, or very fine. Higher grades such as mint state, MS63, MS65, and above, can fetch higher prices, but those are extremely rare in pristine condition. Let's now dive into the market value of a 1977 no-mint mark quarter in fine condition in today's market. In fine condition, this coin generally has a very low value because it is so common. Most dealers, collectors, and market price guides place the value in the range of a few cents over face value. In most cases, a fine condition 1977 quarter sells for around $0.25 to $0.35, meaning only slightly above face value. Some buyers might even consider it worth just face value unless they specifically want it for a date set or type collection. The reason for this low valuation is simple. Extremely high mintage plus widespread circulation equals low numismatic premium. Now let's expand the discussion into how collectors evaluate value beyond basic condition. Even within fine condition, different buyers assess the sharpness of details differently. If a fine coin is borderline very fine, it might attract more interest, but still not enough to significantly raise its market value. The key factors that can increase the price of a 1977 quarter are mint errors, off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, struck-through errors, clipped planchets, or coins accidentally struck on the wrong planchet. Such errors can raise the value anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds of dollars depending on rarity. However, a normal 1977 no-mint mark quarter in fine condition does not carry these premiums. As we continue this long discussion, let's explore the broader context of quarter dollar collecting. Many people around the world collect U.S. quarters because they are affordable, historically interesting, and widely available. The Washington Quarter Series is one of the most collected series in the world. Collectors who build date sets often require every year from 1932 to 1998, including 1977. But because the 1977 coin is common, it does not become a high-value piece in such sets unless found in high grade. Now let's talk about auction records. While fine-condition coins never appear in major auctions, high-grade 1977 quarters have sold for significant amounts. For example, coins graded MS-67 or MS-68 can reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These coins are extremely rare because most 1977 quarters circulated heavily, leaving almost no perfect examples. This helps collectors understand why low-grade coins like fine remain inexpensive. The high-value market is reserved for extremely rare top-grade pieces. Moving on, we discuss market trends. In recent years, the value of lower-grade clad quarters has remained stable with very little fluctuation. Collectors generally purchase them as part of educational sets, bulk lots, or hobby starter kits. The global market for average circulated quarters is large but low in price. Inflation and metal prices do not impact these coins because they contain no silver. The only real driver of value is condition rarity, and that applies only to mint state coins. Now let's shift toward investment potential. A fine condition 1977 quarter should not be considered an investment coin. Its value is unlikely to increase significantly over time because of the extremely high mintage and availability. Collectors who want to invest in coins from the 1970s should focus on high-grade certified examples or rare errors. However, for hobbyists, the 1977 no-mint mark quarter is still a fun collectible because it represents American history, the Washington portrait design era, and the copper-nickel-clad period. As we move toward the deeper analysis of numismatic significance, it's important to understand that even common coins play a role in the broader story of U.S. coinage. The 1977 quarter is part of the final decades before the state quarters program began in 1999. Coins from the late 1970s were made in massive quantities because the U.S. economy required large numbers of quarters for vending machines, toll booths, laundromats, transportation systems, and general commerce. Because of this high demand, the mint pushed out hundreds of millions of quarters each year, making most dates from the 1970s easily available today. Now let's return to the central theme, the value of your 1977 no-mint mark quarter in fine condition. In today's market, after analyzing all factors including mintage, condition, demand, and current collector trends, the realistic value remains around 25 to 35 cents. This value is consistent across multiple price guides, coin dealers, and collector discussions. If someone offers more than this amount, it is usually due to personal interest or a desire to complete a set. Otherwise, the market holds steady. Continuing the long discussion, let's examine how to store, preserve, and protect such coins even if they are common. A fine condition coin can still degrade further if exposed to humidity, dust, chemicals, or rough handling. To preserve the coin's appearance, it should be kept in a dry environment, ideally inside a small plastic flip, coin holder, or album page. Cleaning the coin should be strictly avoided because cleaning can damage the surface, reduce its collectible appeal, and lower its value even further. Natural toning is acceptable and sometimes desirable. Now let's explore the international appeal of U.S. quarters. Many collectors in Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and South America enjoy collecting U.S. coins because they are widely recognized, easy to identify, and backed by a strong history. Even though a 1977 quarter may be common in the United States, it can be interesting and slightly more desirable in international markets where collectors appreciate American coinage themes. However, even internationally, the premium remains small for fine condition examples. As we continue, let's talk about the difference between Philadelphia and Denver mint coins. While Denver coins carry a D mint mark and sometimes have stronger strikes, Philadelphia coins without mint marks from 1977 were more numerous. This large production run ensures that the coin remains plentiful in the market. Some collectors specifically like no-mint mark coins because they represent the tradition of the Philadelphia Mint before it began adding a P-mint mark in 1980. So historically, a 1977 no-mint mark quarter represents the last few years of the Mint's no-mark policy. Now in the extended part of our discussion, let's look at the educational value of coins. Teachers, students, and numismatic clubs often use coins like the 1977 quarter to teach lessons about U.S. history, minting technology, economics, and cultural symbolism. The eagle on the reverse of the quarter is a strong national emblem, and the obverse symbolizes leadership and early American ideals embodied by George Washington. We can also highlight the role of these coins in everyday life. Millions of people in 1977 used these quarters in their daily transactions, making them part of personal memories, travel experiences, and historic events of that era. This connection to people's lives and the American story adds sentimental value that is often greater than the monetary worth of the coin itself. As image history, the 1998 P. Washington quarter features the classical portrait of George Washington on the obverse, designed originally by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932. This portrait remained unchanged for many decades, symbolizing the historical continuity of American currency. The reverse side displays the traditional heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and an olive branch, representing the balance between peace and strength. This design was used on all Washington quarters from 1932 until 1998, making the 1998 issue the last year before a major national change in design. For this reason, the 1998 P quarter is often collected by those who wish to complete the final year sets of the traditional Eagle Reverse series. This coin is composed of a copper-nickel-clad metal structure. It contains an outer layer made of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. These specifications remain the same for nearly all modern quarters minted since 1965. Because the coin has no silver content, its intrinsic metal value remains near face value, and its collectible value depends entirely on condition, rarity of errors, and overall demand in the collector market. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of 1998 P quarters. The extremely high production volume means that the coin is considered common in circulation, and even today it can regularly be found in pocket change, coin rolls, and circulated collections. This high supply is the primary reason why the average value of the coin in circulated grade stays close to face value. For a typical circulating example, most collectors price it between 25 and 35 cents unless it has special attributes. The rarity only emerges in uncirculated, high-grade examples or in coins with minting errors. When examining the condition, graders use the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor to mint state 70. Coins in good or fine conditions show moderate wear, flattened high points, and reduced detail in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. These coins hold minimal premium. In fine condition, the 1998 P quarter usually appears with clear but softened details, visible lettering, worn design elements, and typical circulation marks. The market does not assign much value to these examples because they are plentiful. Values become more interesting in higher grades. A very fine or extremely fine 1998 P quarter still carries light wear but stronger clarity. Even these remain accessible and affordable due to the large minting numbers. It is in the mint state range, specifically MS64, MS65, MS66, MS67, and occasionally MS68, that values begin to rise slowly, sometimes reaching several dollars or even higher for a perfectly preserved specimen. The challenge with 1998 P quarters is that although they were produced in enormous numbers, only a small fraction survived in pristine mint state condition. Most were circulated immediately, leaving fewer untouched examples for collectors today. This creates modest collector interest in top-grade submissions, especially when certified by grading companies such as PCGS or NGC. Another feature worth discussing is minting errors. People often overlook the fact that late 1990s quarters did experience a variety of error types. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die breaks, double strikes, and occasionally double die obverse or reverse varieties. These errors can bring premiums ranging from a few dollars to over $100 depending on visibility, rarity, and overall dramatic appearance. However, regular 1998 P quarters without errors and without high-grade condition remain common and inexpensive. Collectors from around the world take interest in American quarters because of their iconic imagery, historical connection, and long-running design traditions. The 1998 P quarter also holds special interest for collectors who study the transition between the original Washington Eagle design and the massive state quarter program that launched in 1999. Because 1998 represents the final year before the dramatic design change, Some collectors build end-of-era sets that include uncirculated examples of the 1998 P quarter. The overall market trend for 1998 P quarters has remained stable for years, with no significant increases or decreases in value. Because they are not silver coins, they are unaffected by fluctuations in precious metal prices. Their value stems entirely from condition and collector interest. For fine condition coins, the price generally stays at or slightly above face value. A fine-grade coin is widely available, easy to find in bulk lots, coin roll hunts, and even in modern circulation. Thus, the coin does not enter the category of scarce or semi-scarce collectible items. In international markets, U.S. quarters enjoy popularity because they carry recognizable designs and have a connection with American culture. Collectors in countries such as Pakistan, India, Philippines, Canada, UK, UAE, and several parts of Europe appreciate the Washington Quarter series for its continuity and symbolic imagery. Still, even internationally, the 1998 P quarter in fine condition does not attract a high premium because the global supply is large. Its value remains symbolic and educational rather than investment-driven. Many students, educators, and hobbyists use the 1998 P quarter when learning about U.S. mint history. They examine features such as rim structure, reeded edge, die strike clarity, metal bonding, and texture variations. The coin also helps beginners understand the difference between clad and silver coinage, as well as the transition points in U.S. coin history. Because 1998 was the last year of the classic design, the coin serves as a historical milestone for teaching and collecting. From an investment standpoint, the 1998 P quarter in fine condition is not an investment-grade coin. There is no indication that these coins will increase in value significantly in the coming decades due to their extremely large quantities. Collectors who want to invest usually focus on top-grade certified examples, rare error coins, or coins with special characteristics. Fine-grade coins are more suitable for casual collectors, hobbyists, and those who simply enjoy completing date sets. Now, when we talk about the real value in today's market, after reviewing all conditions and factors, a 1998 P quarter in fine condition is realistically valued at around 25 to 30 cents. Some collectors may pay a little extra if the coin has slightly sharper details, but overall, the value stays close to its face value. Dealers often treat these coins as common circulation coins unless found in high grades. Fine condition examples are typically sold in bulk quantities, mixed date rolls, or collectible starter packs. Although the monetary value is low, the coin holds significant historical value. It represents the conclusion of a 66-year design era and the final chapter before the massive modernization of American quarter themes that captured the attention of millions of people worldwide. The 1998 P quarter sits right at the border of this monumental shift, making it historically important even if not financially valuable. Collectors who wish to store or protect a 1998 P quarter should still avoid cleaning it because cleaning can scratch the surface and permanently reduce its appeal. Storing it in a dry, safe environment can prevent further wear. Even common coins deserve preservation for future educational and collectible. The 1987 quarter dollar belongs to the Washington Quarter series, which started in 1932 and continued for many decades before the state quarter program began in 1999. The 1987 quarter carries the portrait of George Washington on the obverse, with the word Liberty above his head, the motto In God We Trust on the left side, and the date 1987 at the bottom. On the reverse side you have the elegant image of the American eagle with wings spread, holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both strength and peace. Below the eagle appears the denomination $1/4. Because this coin is from the regular circulation era, it is made of copper-nickel clad composition, consisting of an inner copper core and outer layers of nickel, giving it the silver-like metallic appearance that is typical of modern U.S. quarters. When we talk about the mint marks, the United States has more than one minting facility, and each facility places its mint mark on the coin. The letter D represents the Denver Mint, while P represents Philadelphia, and S represents San Francisco. A coin without a D mark suggests it came from the Philadelphia Mint, as the Philadelphia Mint commonly produced coins without a mint mark for many, many years. So when we say a 1987 quarter without the D mint mark, we are referring to the standard Philadelphia mint strike of that year. Now let us begin discussing the coin's condition. Fine condition, in numismatic grading, is a mid-range circulated grade, indicating that the coin has seen some circulation but still maintains visible details. In a fine coin, the major design elements are clear, but the high points show noticeable wear. The eagle's feathers may be worn down, Washington's hair details might be softened, and some texture around the lettering may be slightly smooth, but overall the coin remains fully readable and identifiable. Fine condition is not a high grade, but it is a common and useful grade for collectors who prefer circulated historical coins without paying premium prices. To understand the 1987 quarters market behavior, we must examine supply and demand. The United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters in 1987, meaning that common circulation pieces are widely available. For that reason, the 1987 quarter without the D mint mark is not considered a rare coin in normal circulated grade. Its value in most cases remains close to face value unless the coin shows some special error, high grade, or unique characteristic. In fine condition, the coin remains a typical circulation piece, appreciated for historical and collectible interest but not considered scarce. Collectors around the world collect Washington quarter dollars by date and mint mark. For them, the 1987 quarter is a normal filler coin in their sets. International collectors, especially in countries where American coins are popular, often show interest in such coins, but still the market value depends on condition and rarity. In global marketplaces such as eBay, Etsy, numismatic auctions, and online collector groups, the 1987 Philadelphia quarter appears frequently for sale, and prices are usually modest unless the coin is in extremely high uncirculated condition, such as MS-66 or MS-67, which are very special grades. Now, when we talk about the value of a 1987 quarter dollar without the D mint mark in fine condition, the realistic market behavior must be considered. A fine condition 1987 quarter typically sells for around its face value, meaning approximately 25 cents in the United States market. In some collector circles or international markets, sellers sometimes list such coins for $1 or even $2, but actual sale prices usually remain between 25 cents and $1 unless someone specifically wants that particular year and condition for a collection. The market for circulated modern quarters is stable but not high-priced, because supply remains abundant and collector demand is moderate. However, the long-term potential of coins depends on a few factors. One of the important things is how many pieces survive in good condition over decades. Though millions were produced in 1987, many get lost, damaged, or melted over time. As decades pass, even common coins can become slightly more interesting to collectors. But even with this long-term view, the 1987 no-D quarter in fine condition is still likely to remain a modest value coin compared to older silver quarters or special era coins. Throughout this hour, we want to explore the fascination that people around the world have with U.S. coins, how they carry stories, history, art, and the evolution of the country's minting technology. A small coin such as the 1987 quarter tells us about the American economy of the late 20th century, the minting priorities at the time, the materials chosen, the engraving choices, and the shift from older designs to modern designs. Every collector knows that even the most common coin has a place in the overall numismatic journey. The 1987 quarter, although not rare, still holds sentimental and historical significance for many. As we continue talking, it is important to highlight that many new collectors misunderstand the value of circulated coins. They see old dates and assume they must be worth big money. The truth is that most modern-clad coins from the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s remain common, and their values depend on grade, rarity, and errors. For a 1987 quarter without the D mint mark in fine condition, the value remains low because the coin is not rare, not silver, and not in a high-grade collector condition. But that does not mean the coin is not collectible. It simply means it is valued for its historical interest and not for financial rarity. When we examine fine condition pieces, we also learn how to compare them with higher grades. Uncirculated pieces from 1987 with sharp details, full luster, and nowhere can sometimes sell for higher prices. Sometimes $10, $20, or even more if it is graded by PCGS or NGC with a high MS number. But that grading process is expensive and not practical for an average fine-condition coin. For this reason, most collectors keep their circulated 1987 quarters as part of bulk sets or album collections. The international demand for coins like this is strong in regions where American currency is admired. Countries in Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and Africa often see enthusiastic new collectors who enjoy building year-by-year U.S. coin sets. In such markets, even a fine-condition quarter can sell for more than face value simply because it is imported and not easy to find locally. Sometimes dealers sell them in bundles, like 20 quarters for $10, depending on the region. So, if we summarize the realistic market value again in plain international terms, a 1987 quarter dollar without a D mint mark in fine condition is normally valued between 25 cents and $1 in today's global marketplace. If the coin has some unique eye appeal or is part of a themed set, the price can be a little higher, but usually not beyond a couple of dollars. This value remains stable over time because of the coin's availability. And now, as we continue to stretch our conversation toward the hour-long depth, we can talk about how collectors evaluate their coins. They look at rim condition, lettering clarity, the sharpness of the feathers on the eagle, the visibility of Washington's hair curls, the smoothness of the fields, and signs of scratches or damage. Fine condition means noticeable wear but full readability. Advanced collectors can identify exact differences between fine, very fine, extremely fine. The 1965 United States Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark, a coin that holds both historical significance and collector interest. The 1965 quarter represents a major turning point in American coinage. Before this year, U.S. quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, rising silver prices and a national coin shortage pushed the U.S. government to pass the Coinage Act of 1965, which permanently changed the composition of quarters to a copper-nickel-clad structure. Because of this change, the 1965 quarter became one of the most widely produced coins in U.S. mint history, with over 1.8 billion pieces struck. Between 1965 and 1967, mint marks were intentionally removed to prevent hoarding, which is why every 1965 quarter has no mint mark. The physical characteristics of this coin include a weight of about 5.67 grams for the clad version, a diameter of approximately 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded edge. The obverse features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1965. The reverse shows an eagle with spread wings perched on arrows with olive branches beneath it, symbolizing both strength and peace. Now let's talk about the value. For most 1965 no-mint mark quarters in fine or average circulated condition, the value remains very close to face value, around 25 cents in the U.S. market. Some guides mention that fine condition pieces might bring around 29 cents, 50 cents, or perhaps up to $1 depending on eye appeal, but generally there is no high premium on circulated pieces. Uncirculated or mint state coins, on the other hand, can be valued anywhere from $1 to $3, depending on grade and luster. But what truly makes the 1965 quarter interesting is not the common coins, it is the rare errors. A very small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964, meaning they are actually silver coins despite the official change. These rare silver planchet errors can sell for thousands of dollars. Additionally, the highest graded known example of a regular 1965 clad quarter has sold for around $20,000, showing how condition can transform value dramatically. If you want to check whether your 1965 quarter might be valuable, here are key things to examine. First, check the weight. A clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but a silver planchet version weighs around 6.25 grams. This difference is extremely important. Second, look at the edge. Clad coins show a visible copper band, whereas silver coins have a uniform bright silver color. Third, check for errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual metal flaws. And finally, check overall condition. Sharp details, clean surfaces, and strong luster mean higher value. In fine condition, which generally means moderate wear but clearly visible major details, your coin is typically valued close to 25 cents, maybe slightly more depending on market demand. Fine condition coins are not considered rare, and millions exist. But if yours appears sharper, brighter, or heavier, always double-check, because your ordinary-looking 1965 quarter could be an extraordinary find. The reason most 1965 quarters remain low in value is because the mintage was extremely high. Over 1.8 billion pieces were produced, which means supply is huge. And because they're not made of silver, there is no intrinsic metal value. Collectors usually pay for rarity, condition, or historical error significance, so common coins with normal wear do not command high prices. Market trends show that while most 1965 quarters remain close to face value, rare error versions and high-grade mint state pieces continue to gain attention. If you're serious about collecting, consider storing your coin properly, avoid scratching it, and if you believe it may be special, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. This can confirm its authenticity, identify errors, and significantly improve your selling potential. To conclude, the 1965 no-mint mark quarter is historically important, widely available, and typically low in monetary value in circulated fine condition, usually around 25 cents to perhaps $1. But always inspect weight, appearance, and condition carefully, because rare examples can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Thank you for watching this in-depth discussion. If you enjoyed this long-form educational video on coin values and history, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave your questions in the comments below. Happy collecting, and see you in the next video.